The Crew 2 has been out for 2 years and has not had a major update. Well, Need for Speed Heat hasn't, but Need for Speed Heat only needed just a few features. Well, Need for Speed Heat is just a better game because it's more fun to play, its physics are better, cars have actual headlights, just so much more is better. So, Fat PS4, buy Need for Speed Heat instead of the Crew 2 because... Or if you have an Xbox, better to just buy Forza Horizon 4, which is better than both of them. So, the Crew 2 has been a god-awful game for about 2 years now. When I played it, I was severely disappointed. I was expecting the game to be better than ever before in the Crew IP. So, here's how to improve the Crew 2 by making this... Here's the perfect Crew 2 update. So, I think that I would want, like, with any other updates, probably some new cars that be interesting, but there needs to be a lot more than that. So, the Crew 2 needs the following: better PvP by adding new modes and stuff. So, basically, just fixed PvP, race editor, runner missions, way more events because it's very lacking. And more events, and then fixed quality because the game, you may be surprised, but if you play Crew 2, or if you compare it to a Crew 1, like, the quality is really, really bad in the Crew 2. Because, like, there's a lot of low-res textures. Probably due to, like, planes and boats, but those things, they're out of place in the Crew IP. They're out of place. In the game, it just feels like a clone of Forza Horizon. Mainly because they're both legal arcade racers. Well, Forza Horizon 4, it's not as arcadey as Need for Speed Heat, but it's definitely not as sim-like. But it's arcadey enough to be an arcade racer. And then SimK would be Motorsport, and then Full Sim would be Assetto Corsa. When you compare Assetto Corsa to Forza Horizon 4, there's so many differences in the physics. So yes, Forza Horizon 4 is considered an arcade racer. And they're both what I like to call festival racers. That means that they're kind of in a festival atmosphere. So that's why I'm saying that the Crew 2 is a clone of Forza Horizon. It's because they're both festival racers. And the Crew 2, like, heck, for 2 years now, it hasn't felt like a finished game at all. It felt like some budget game that you bought for $30 on Steam. It doesn't feel like a AAA game. It doesn't look like a AAA game. And, like, that's the thing. And I'm going to tell you things about how to make the Crew 2 a better game. So I already said fix PvP, like graphics, like all this stuff. So I'll go into PvP. PvP in the Crew 2, as of this time, at least it still has PvP, even though it was at launch, which was a huge mistake. But now it has PvP, but it's very bare bones. All you can do is do races. That's pretty much it. Like, there's no, like, elimination racing. There's no, survival thing. Like, there's just no modes rather than racing in the Crew 2. Like, the Crew 1, you had all of these different, like, mini games and stuff. Like, there's like a gate thing where it's like go into different, like, gates and stuff, and then you would get points. Like, all of that would have been perfect in Crew 2, but Avatar was like, nope. We're going to make PvP very bare bones for almost 2 years. I think Forza Horizon 4, which is kind of, well, they're similar in atmosphere. Here's why I'm calling the Crew 2 a clone of Forza Horizon 4. It's because of atmosphere, okay? They both feel like official like racing games, like official and not illegal like Need for Speed Heat. So that's why I'm comparing the two. It's because they're both kind of like sanctioned racers. Well, Need for Speed has two of them, but it's not really a festival racer. So the Crew 2 also needs runner missions because I really like them in the Crew 1, and that has to be at least what needs to be in the Crew 2. At least runner missions, or if not better, just have free roam cops. Because in the opening CG movie, it showed cops, like everyone was thinking that it was gonna have cops, but no, there were no cops in the game, which made me severely disappointed. And they made the graphics look good. Well, no, the graphics are actually worse than the Crew 1 in the Crew 2. So, I talked about quality PvP and adding in runner missions. I've also put fixed car sounds because the car sounds sound very unnatural because you get this weird artificial note to it. It doesn't sound right. Like, heck, I think that even though, like, Forza Horizon 4's car sounds are lazy, but they're way better than just all the sound design in the Crew 2. So then when you hit things, it sounds lazy. It just has lazy sounds in general. So probably fix the sound design if they can. Like, make sure this is like Wild Run, like a free expansion. Like, the Crew 2 should have had a free expansion like Wild Run. And like a long time ago, and they just haven't added a free expansion like Wild Run. I really wish they just made a Wild Run like expansion. And the Crew 2 also needs a lot more events. Like, there's not enough hypercar races. There's just not enough events in general, and they need to be in the following areas like Detroit and like. Well, no, I mean Chicago. Like, Chicago's the main one. And then there's more areas that don't have events. And there's just not enough events in general. Like I said, there's not enough hypercar races. And they're just putting up disciplines that nobody really cares about, like hovercraft. Like, who the heck wants hovercraft? Like, who asked for it? Or Demolition Derby. Well, people did get some enjoyment out of it. Like, the hovercraft. Like, I mean, Demolition Derby, but no one asked for it. Or touring bikes, who asked for it. So, there needs to be so many more events. Because it's missing so many events. And, yeah, so it's missing events, so probably do that. And then introduce a new mode, and make sure it's and mode with new content, since stuff like hobbies is just unnecessary grinding. You're basically just doing the same monotonous garbage that I've been doing for the past 2 years. So you would get that it's just recycled content. That's what hobbies is. So it needs a new mode that doesn't have recycled content, like a Battle Royale mode. Like, heck, take away that of your superior competitor, Forza Horizon 4. The reason why I'm saying that, I explained this so many times, they're both official racing games. As an official, I mean like legal racing games. And heck, even Forza Horizon 4 has a kind of illegal racing series of Street Scene. Like, the Crew 2 should at least have that. Like, an unofficial racing series. Like, learn from Forza Horizon 4 Ivory Tower. Just do some features that they have. But don't completely rip them off like what you're doing right now. Since the Crew 2, it just feels like a low-budget Forza Horizon 4. Forza Horizon bargain ripoff, but with points of boats. Like, we already talked about how to turn around. Like, those are the things I needed. New game modes that don't have recycled content, a race editor, which is improved from the first game, since the race editor was hot garbage in the first game, but it gave an idea to like improve upon it, and then add way more events, probably about 20 events, because that's what matters. And then add runner missions, because I really like them, and it would make the game a lot more fun. And would give more of a point to like cruise around the open world. Says it feels dead, and then fix quality, which comes in form of like car sounds, graphics, and then probably make the game run a little bit better. So every update in the Crew 2, so like a lot of them, maybe except for Hot Shots or like Inner Drive, since they did fix something. So like every update, they're just wasted potential, because what they could have done is that they could have used that, but also fixed important features and added in features like PvP, runner missions. Like that's the thing, the Crew 2, it's just a missed opportunity. That's what I'm trying to say. And then Hot Shots had there was like PvP and stuff like that. Well, Inner Drive just replaced the character models, which was a good thing. So at least those were something, but there's just a lot more to make the Crew 2 a full AAA game, and it's actually performed very badly. Like I think it was first week only sold 300,000 copies. Well, and other than that, it has like 1.3 thousand players on Steam. Then every update were like they're just not getting that much attention. The game itself is just not getting that much attention. Then when I try getting into PvP, there's like barely any players and so much more. Like, I don't want this game to fail. I want Avatar to improve the game instead of adding in cars. Like, a lot of them were cool cars that I would want to get, but oh yeah, that's another thing. Car prices lower them too. Because, well, cars were expensive in the first game, but it wasn't anywhere near as hard to get money than it was in the Crew 2, because like you would get paid every single day in the Crew 1. Like just add that and then it won't be like very grindy, or just reduce car prices and then like do that. And money is very easy to come by in the Crew 1 actually. So that's my view on like how to make the Crew 2 a great game, or at least a finished game.